Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your nighttime, right time DJ Music, and I got 15 minutes to rock this post, so let me get straight to it. Look at the young man in front of you right there. Bolton Jean, I think that's how you pronounce his name. It looks like he's of a Jamaican or Haitian descent or whatever, but I just been the name. I'm only guessing. I hope I'm saying it right. Jean Bolton, or Bolton Jean. I hope I'm saying his name correctly there. As you see, these two names will be tied together for, I guess, throughout infinity. Amber Guyger is the other player and what we're about to talk about here. Nice looking young man. If not, unless you folks haven't been watching the news, you'll know the story of how this young man was sitting in his apartment early in the morning. Either a door or something came, a doorbell rang or something. Someone came to his door unexpectedly, thinking that the apartment that they came to was theirs. The someone that came to the door unexpectedly was a female police officer by the name of Amber Guyger. Amber Guyger shows up to this young man's apartment, which was on the 4th floor. She lived on the 3rd floor. She says after working a long 14-hour shift, she was a bit confused about where her apartment was at. Now, I'm old, simple old country boy, but that dog just don't hunt to me, folks. I just don't see that. I just don't see how you can forget where you live. I've been on jobs that I've worked 14 hours a day, 15 hours a day, 16 hours a day. I've been in the military where I've had to stand a 24-hour post. And I ain't never, in all my years on this earth, forgot where I lived at. I've never gone to someone else's apartment thinking that I lived there. I've never gone to someone else's house thinking I lived there. And I would venture to say that 99.9% of the American population probably hasn't done that either. We might have done that in a drunken stupor. Couple points to ponder here, folks. First and foremost, before we get to this interview, a couple points to ponder. Why did it take the police 3 days to at least arrest the perpetrator, even though she was a police officer? Here's what I think. I think her, and some people will disagree with me, I think this is a case of white female privilege. That her word was taken before anything else was decidedly looked into. The story that she gave seemed credible. Let's reverse that. If you think that young man that you're looking at on the screen, when I went to Amber Guyger's house, shot and killed her, and told the police that he forgot what apartment that he lived in, do you think that he would not be in jail right now? Do you would think he would not be out on bond? You would think there would be no bond for that? Here's a second point to ponder. Why the police haven't gotten their cell phone records yet to at least see that there was no personal connection between the two of them, i.e., his cell phone number, maybe some text messages, maybe something to say that these two knew each other more than she says that they knew each other. Third point to ponder. As the reports started surfacing, one of the news outlets that I was watching showed a picture of the key. In this news clip that you'll hear here now, they'll explain how those keys work. It's like one key will not open another door because it's, it's coded. And it's coded that way, so if any of those keys go to certain parts of the building, they can tell when it was accessed, who accesses, well, maybe not so much who, but they can tell what key accessed a certain part of any locked door. And I would imagine that would be for security purposes. So this young man sitting in his house, who knows what he was doing? Maybe he was planning to go to work that morning, or maybe he was just planning on chilling that morning. But I can guarantee you this: he was not planning to get killed that morning. Now, I'm going to pause it here for a minute, and we're going to go to the actual video of what someone sent me on my YouTube page. All right, so hold your horses there, folks, and we'll be right back. I'm going to pause this for a second. And we're back. I'm going to let you take a listen to this particular news clip here. And it'll give you a little bit more insight to what I'm talking about. So I'll let that finish, and then I'll come back and I'll wrap it right on up there, folks. So hold on to your hats there, and you tell me. Leave comments down in the chat box over there, or you can hit me up on Facebook or one of those places and give me your opinions. All right, here we go.
From Jean's death, it's been 1 week since Jean was killed in his own apartment by a Dallas police officer. She says she thought his apartment was hers. Jean was laid to rest on yesterday. That same day, police released the findings of a search warrant of his apartment. Among the items seized 10 grams of marijuana. Botham Jean's mother says that information was released to assassinate her son's character.
That's the information received yesterday is to me worse than the call that I got on the morning of Friday, September 7th. To have my son smeared in such a way, I think shows that there are persons who are really nasty, who are really dirty, and are going to cover up for the devil, Amber Geiger.
Dallas police officer Amber Geiger is out on bond, charged with manslaughter in Jean's killing. Attorneys for his family asked repeatedly at today's press conference why search warrants were not issued for the officer's apartment or car. Newsay's Tanya Iser is in our Dallas newsroom right now, and we heard some new warrants came out today. So, Tanya, can you tell us about those?
Well, these are 5 search warrants that were obtained by the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. 2 of the warrants allowed investigators to seize the door locks on both of their doors and also to download data related to those door locks. A 3rd warrant allowed them to get back into his apartment and do what they call laser measurements of the firearms trajectory. They also took collected gunshot residue, as well as took more pictures and photographs inside his apartment. And the 4th and 5th warrants allowed them to seize surveillance video. They also took what's called elevator access door lock reports and a lock audit report for both of the apartments. And it's pretty clear what investigators are trying to accomplish here is they're trying to either prove or disprove Amber Geiger's story about how.
And you can see the apartments right there, folks, the South Side Flats. And I have to go with the mother on this. There was absolutely no reason. Her son is the victim. Why would the police report even include that the young man smoked marijuana? What difference does that have to do with this case? That marijuana that they found in his apartment, whether it was planted there, whether he put it there, whether it was a dime bag, whether it was a nickel bag, whether it was a full freaking ounce of weed, had nothing to do with the reason why that man was killed in his apartment. Now here's my thing. Here's my take on why I think they know that that police officer knew that young man more than she let on. I think, just my opinion, I think this is a case of a woman scorned, or a woman that was upset, or a woman that was mad at the fact that the relationship was over, or maybe that the young man rebuffed her in some way, some shape or form, or even so much to the fact that if they were in a relationship, that she may have caught him, out with another woman or dealing with another woman or whatever. Bottom line to the story is, folks, you do not forget your way home. The police should have automatically, 2 things they should have automatically seized from her was that cell phone. Most of us today, folks, our cell phones are part of an appendage. We weren't born with it, but I'll be damned if most of it. Try and leave your house without your cell phone. Even if she says she was working a 14-hour day. Oh well, that's part of the job that you have. But let's finish this up right here, folks, and then we'll come back onto it.
She got into this apartment. She has said that apartment door was slightly ajar, and that's how she got in. So it's pretty clear the kinds of things that they're seizing, that they're trying to determine her story as they.
Now here's another thing. You heard the woman say that she said when she got up to the apartment was slightly ajar. The apartment door was slightly ajar. Okay. At no point in time have they ever made reference that this policewoman had children, or that she had a roommate, or that she had a husband, or as any reason why anyone would be in her apartment other than her. Now, as a trained police officer, you walk up to your door and you see your door ajar, and the first thing for you to do is decide to go and push it open and to shoot the occupants that's in there because he didn't obey your verbal command? Or would it have been much smarter to, since you already were locked and loaded with your police gear on, you had your radio, wouldn't it have been easier for just to call backup first? What's this problem with the police, this shoot first, ask questions later mentality, that you have to gun down in everybody that stands in your way? No, this wasn't the case, folks, of the police shooting an unarmed black man. Not at all. This was a case of a woman scorned. This was a case of a woman that a relationship either ended or something happened traumatic in that relationship that she went berserk. She couldn't wait to get off work to go confront this man, and when she did, she confronted him with a loaded service revolver and some bullets. Her stories just don't add up. Nowhere in America I don't see how anyone could say that's a defense. And what troubles me more than anything else, it took them 3 days to arrest this person. And then nothing about her blood, nothing about her toxicology report. Was she smoking? Was she drinking? Was she on some kind of medication? Nothing. The standard things that, I'm not a police officer, but the 3 standard things that you know that police automatically do, especially in the case of a murder. Let me check your blood. If one of the first things the police do if they suspect you of drunk driving, you take a breathalyzer from you. Here's, again, I think this is all just a big cover-up, and the police department, for some reason or the other, they got this blue wall of silence that if they protect their own at any cost. Well, this cost was Mr. Bolton's life. And as his mother said, what would you rather have? Or what could be more devastating to you? The fact that you lost your son, or the fact that people are now besmirching this kid's name simply because he's not there to defend himself anymore? After looking at the pictures and looking at the lifestyle of that young man, chances are if he smoked weed, who doesn't? But is that such a big crime, folks? To someone to have 10 grams of marijuana, and that lets up to about, it depends on what kind of marijuana it is, that lets up to about $25-30. At best, $35. So you mean to tell me that man's life was worth $35? To besmirch his character is worth $35? To stain the memory of how his family remembers him, that the media, instead of reporting on the perpetrator, they report on the victim. But that's nothing new for us. That is absolutely positively nothing new.